what we're meant to be. On contract in the woods for the pulp and paper company. The din of saws and axes makes the forest come alive when we're falling down the timber for the big spring drive. Timber! Sled drivers too, doing piecework by the cord after all the felling's through. It's part of all a pattern, keeps our homes in bed and board, keeps paper mills a-turning to support the printed word. Watch the slippery slope, old horse, for the sled is loaded high. One false step or a hanging limb could mean sweet by and by. By and by for you, old horse, perhaps the same for me. And we'd never work again for the pulp and paper company. Keep a-moving, boys, till the work is done. The sooner it is over, then the sooner we'll be home. Lay the logs out on the lake while winter still is king. We'll leave him lie asleep until the break-up in the spring. When the wintry days are over, the wind blows in soft weather, and the wild birds fly on northerly. You're just in time, my pretty little birds, while the river's in a hurry going somewhere. Oh, buds are out and the river's in a hurry going somewhere.
There's a man whom all respect in our village of Notre-Dame-du-Lot, Euclid Dovet, boss of the logdrive. Each spring he goes alone to inspect the melting brooks and streams. He has 45 years of experience in the bush, and he decides when the moment has come to put our boys to work.
Early next morning, spring drives a starting. Boys from each village and parish around are all on their toes going down to Lac Brûlé. Lay it on, chef boy, we're coming back hungry. Away, away, spring drives a starting.
The ice on Lac Brûlé is just about ready to go out, but we'll give it a helping hand anyway, with dynamite. For this work, you must be strong and agile, of course. But more important still, You must have calm nerves. Euclid Tovet directs the whole operation, especially the setting of the charges. For this, he picks his most experienced and reliable men and spreads them out according to a plan he has in mind. The dynamite must be placed just right to break the ice's grip and yet not damage too many logs. And the men better not make any mistakes, for these blasts can kill. All day, melting streams have been pouring into Lac Brûlé and raising the level. We built a small dam at one end to hold the water in. And now that the ice is broken, we can raise the gate and let some out. But it's still cold in early spring. We have only enough water for 2 hours. In that time, it must carry out 25,000 logs. We work hard to keep them moving. The flood must not stop, and no pileups or tangles are allowed to last long. Old Tovet handles the tricky ones himself. It's a wonderful sight to see the white water boiling down, carrying our logs for us. But Salmon Creek is tricky. There's many a bend and shallow down below where we have men watching in case of trouble. If they catch and start to pile up, it doesn't take long till there's more than one man can untangle. Then there's only one thing for him to do. Call the boss and get some help. Fast. It's 10 miles below at McPherson's Bend. We have trouble there every year. When old Euclid gives that signal, everyone stops whatever they're doing and comes a-running. 4 acres of logs are piling up somewhere down the river, and the quicker we get there, the better. It'll take us hours to untangle anyway. We quickly close the gap at the exit from the lake, so no more logs will come crashing down onto the jam below, and then we're off.
When I was was young and in my prime, thought I'd go for a river driver. I met an old man on the shore. He said, son, better watch black water break and go. I tell you so, log jams like young men like you. I just laughed and I laughed some more. What was I but a bold young rouser, and I left him on the shore. That was before I knew black water break and go. I tell you so, log jams like young men like you. Well, I was not but a wild young fool, and it didn't take long till I learned better. That's when young Macpherson drowned, gone with a roar when the jam turned over, break and go. It's now I see log jams like young men like me. So we dragged him to the shore, carved his name in the bark of a cedar, hung his boots on a hanging limb. Mac had gone too near the water, break and go. It's now I see log jams like young men like me. Log jams come, log jams go, big or small, they all spell danger. You gotta have an old man on the shore when you're trying to get the key log out from under, break and go. It's now I see log jams like young men like me. So now I mind what the old man says. Listen to the words of the big bus driver when he's standing on the shore, telling young fellas how to handle timber. Break and go, it's now I see log jams like young men like me.
It's good to see her start to move out, especially since nobody got hurt this time. After a while, we come to the Kiamaka River and the big hydro dam. There's not much excitement here, just hard, boring work, hour after hour, shepherding the logs through the sluice gate. Old Euclid keeps us at it, for the power company won't leave their water gates open for more than 2 weeks. We have to get the whole drive through in that time, working day and night. Soon, for the first time in weeks, we see civilization. The village of San Felipe is not far away. We can't stop our work to visit, but there's no harm in showing off a little, just in case any of the village girls are watching. But of course, old Euclid doesn't allow this fooling to interrupt her work. The logs are kept moving. You can be sure of that. As we go down the river, the size of our drive increases all the time. cutting operations too small to have a drive of their own wait for us to come by and then dump their logs in with ours. Before we finish, we'll have a couple of miles of logs riding behind us on the river. There is a nasty rapids below San Felipe, where we have men stationed all the time. We can't afford to have a jam here, and so they work with dynamite day and night, breaking up trouble before it gets serious. We're always glad when we get the drive past that dangerous corner. We're always glad, too, when Cookie pounds his triangle. No matter how much you ate the meal before, when you're on a log drive, you always feel as if you've been starving for days. So you stoke up as much fuel as you can. Maybe it'll get you through till supper time. We portage our friend the alligator from lake to lake. There isn't much that this little boat can't do, and you can carry her wherever you want, in the back of a truck. With her winch and cable, she unloads herself at the next lake and is ready for work right away. When the main drive is passed, hundreds of logs are left stuck on the banks of the rivers and lakes. They're worth a lot of money. So some of us follow on behind, cleaning up the shores and sending the logs on their way. It's a hard, boring job, and sometimes to ease the work and break up the day, we practice burling a little.
Combing's a chance for showing our style, a chance to take a log burling out on the river, take a log burling, give it a try. If you fancy yourself a log burler, don't be shy. And many a lad will give it a trial, only one way to be a log burler. Do it again to be a log burler, try it once more. But if you can't take icy water, better stay on the shore. there are a few who can do it in style. Everyone likes to see a log burler stand on the bank, to see a log burler taking his time, traveling down on the river, taking his time. Half of our lives is spent on the river, learning the lines of her shores, the curve of her bay. These are the things we remember all of our days. And the best thing of all is to be on the river in spring or any old time, summer or fall. Give me a life on the river, it's best of all. But it's no place for boys, we need men on the river, out where the pointers dance and circle around. Even a pull together, circling around.
It's June now and the flies are biting. But we're well down the river, past the bridge over Mailleur Falls and nearing Lac Guérin. We still have to be careful, but the worst is over.
Parisette!
There's lots of water here, so this is an easy falls to pass. Especially for us, who have just conquered far more difficult rapids, like the Big and Little Bulldog, the Crush, and the Cochon, and the Buzzsaw. Lac Guérin. And here, we're joined by another river full of logs, the Manjo Drive. Together, we make 5 million cubic feet of pulpwood. There's not much current to help us move it. Here's where our little boats really prove their worth. We couldn't do it without them. First, they string a boom of chained logs around the pulpwood, close the gap, and then hook on. Then they tow the boom, logs and all, across the lake to the outlet. That takes power, more power than they can get from the propellers, and so they have a little trick. They winch themselves across with their donkey engines. Once we cross Lac Guérin, the worst of our job is over. The logs go down the Lièvre to the mill at Buckingham, with the little flat-bottom boats shepherding them all the way.
friend in need is a friend indeed, our trusty alligator that makes the final roundup when we come to quiet water. We guide the logs to sluice gates, then we send them down the hill. Then they're carried to the stockpile of the hungry paper mill. It's the end of our journey, the spring drives over. We fetched them from the forest and we brought them down the river. And we'll go back in winter when the weather's cold and clear, to cut another lake full for the drive next year. The summer season's almost here, the trees are broad and shady, oh. Tovette takes another look around upstream to see if all's left tidy, oh. See if nothing's left behind and the riverbank's neat and tidy. Things went well on the river this year, and it only seems like yesterday when he was a lad on this very same stream, off on his first adventure. A green cocky lad who was off on his first adventure. It's good to be alive this day, the whole world's like a garden. Euclid's off home to mend that fence and romp with his children's children, oh. To give the wife a hand and to romp with his children's children.